So today I want to welcome Maricela to our basically to our weekly meeting as we have conversations with either leaders, homeschooling parents, educators, people that are basically supporting the homeschooling community. And right here, we want to highlight stories from other Latinos who have taken this journey for a very long time and their children are actually thriving in this environment. So I have Maricela here and I don't know if we should share this, Maricela. We have kind of a weird, crazy homeschooling story and even
Oh
how we
yeah,
meet each other,
share
right?
it.
Okay, so here's our story. I Maricela, you've been homeschooling for quite some time. We met here in Illinois, Indiana, well, not a few years ago, maybe
Like a
about,
year and a half.
yeah, a year and a half ago. So our story is kind of crazy. Like, we found each other through Instagram. She was looking for connections here around the Chicagoland area. And we met a couple times. She has two boys and I have one son as well. He's about to turn 11 in a couple weeks. And we basically were looking for community. During one of our conversations or outings at the park, we realized we were related because of our last names. One of our last names down the family tree. And it's been more of a blessing because the cousins get along and their two boys and my boys are cousins are related and all the streaming all the way down from Texas and we're both homeschooling. And I just think that offers like another support for one of us because now we have blood in homeschooling.
Yeah, no. And every time like we talk about homeschooling, the kids have to bring up like that the one in a million chance that they found their cousin because like it was just an internet search. That's how I found you and like it just took on this great like level of support and also, I'm like my family's not really here too much. Like they come and visit me, but I am, most of my family's in Texas. So this has been great to have the family, but also people doing, similar things and have like, the same ideas about like education and educating our kids. So it has
Yeah.
definitely been a blessing.
Yeah, and we get along. We share a lot of the same values. I think that's important. And, and I'm so happy because at least like a lot of our get-togethers where we're shopping for, or we're kind of, I don't want to, yeah, we are window shopping, but window shopping, internet windows, different curriculums and resources that we think are fun or we should probably try out with our boys, when they get together, especially math. I know you're really, really good with math and you have a cool Montessori approach to it. And that's how your children are able to thrive in math. They're probably like a couple years ahead of where they're supposed to be, right?
Yeah, math for sure. The other things, in different ways, yes. But math for sure is uh, definitely ahead, I would say, on that.
So, but one of the things kind of I thought was really cool what Maricela's doing in her lessons is she was talking about this last month and in August about her children becoming entrepreneurs and integrating this in the lesson. And you kind of went all out of creating kind of like a corporation, basically having a CEO or CFO, whoever's in charge of the money, and then you have the creative component. Then you're creating a space for them to sell and to talk about what they're doing. Can you tell me where did this idea of for your children, for your two boys to become entrepreneurs, where did that start, or what brought about that idea?
Well, it kind of so Toby has been a prolific artist. Like he goes through like so many papers every day with all of his designs, and he's been doing this like steadily since 2022. And he's had all these ideas for movies. Since he was 6, he was writing his own stories. So he had these like accompanying art pieces as well that he was doing. And one day, and I'll show the site later. Like I saw one design, I was like, that would look amazing on a t-shirt. And I had some family visiting, and they were also like, yeah, that would look great on a t-shirt. And so like that kind of set in my mind like cool designs that would look good on a t-shirt. And then I packed it away because that was about a year ago. And then we go to the library a lot. That's a great resource for us. And one of the amazing librarians at the South Holland Public Library decided that they're going to have this event called Nerdvana. So it's all comic books, all artists doing like different types of like things that are related to comics. And so they had a kids corner where they were going to allow kid artists to come in and showcase their art, but also sell merchandise. And then they also had artists from the community that were going to be there. So that kind of like lit a fire under us, instead of just talking about how great Toby's designs would be. It became like, okay, well, there's an event, let's plan for it. So that's kind of how we actually got into let's put his designs on shirts. So then Toby started working towards that, and I was like, I'm not going to have Enoch just sit it out. This is something where he could learn a lot of important skills that align with his interests as well, which he's very much like kind of cerebral, like more like likes doing math kind of stuff. And so we found an opportunity for him to be in charge of money for and like
Uh-huh.
orders and kind of just the business aspect to allow Toby to kind of focus on his like creative aspect of that.
Um, so, um, so how did the event go? Tell me about the event.
Yes. So the event was definitely well attended. Like we got to set up a booth, figure out how we're going to like organize it. So the boys were helping me like put things out, spread it, fold shirts. So like that just like, learning how to put events together or like prepare for things. They got to do that. We had families like come in or like, library attenders, I don't know, readers, just everybody coming in and just talking with the kids. But I think one of the, like they sold things, like people that weren't just like family bought something. Other artists came and bought stuff. So it was so nice for people to like all like people that just don't know them to be like, hey, this is cool. I want this, mug of Toby's design in my house. And so that was really great. Another thing I wasn't completely expecting was that we ended up doing a lot of networking there. So we wanted to support all the other artists that do this for a living, and I wanted Toby to see, there's people that as adults really like really appreciate their art and try to make it into a business as well, have books, draw for companies and make that part of their life. So we talked to them and got tips. And so like Toby was just having sometimes 30-minute conversations, with the artists during like lulls in clients coming through. So like that was an amazing experience that I hadn't expected. And also for him to hear like instead of just like me saying, oh, you're so great, mijo, it's like other artists giving him that affirmation was really great, and making those connections as well.
So how did he feel? How did you guys feel other people buying your work, your creative work?
Yeah, well, the first thing that came into my mind is Anak, who's actually the business person. Like
And,
he was just like he would take the money and he'd be like, oh, and he's like,
oh,
we just sold this, and he's like, that was $40 in 5 minutes or whatever. So like the excitement of seeing everything that we had planned, you know, actually manifesting in money, which is like a great motivating factor for kids that want to
yeah.
like buy those kind of things that like maybe I'm just like I'm not gonna buy $100 2-foot Charmander. Like I'm not gonna like that's something I'm not gonna be excited about buying, but he has a goal and working towards it. So that was really exciting for him. And I think again, not only like for me noticing, hey, people think my kid's great. For him to hear like people are so impressed with his work and that he's so young doing this and he's off to a great start with his, because he also had samples of his writing there, and for people to read that and just like be excited about him, I think really is motivating for him to like keep on going and see that this is something that his dream to either be an animator, movie maker, writer, screenplay, whatever direction he wants to go in that creative field, that it's definitely possible, and people see his talent. So like those are kind of the two ends of the spectrum with how they reacted to that event.
So they're both using their talents in a different way. And it's actually, I'm glad he's doing it now. I mean, at this young age, because he's 8 and he's getting uncomfortable and, he's learning how to sell and all these important skills. And you don't need to wait until you're 18, 20, or even go through art school. He's already doing it. Maybe if he wants to go to art school, if he needs to, but he's
Mhm.
learning a lot of important skills. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you're pushing him to get, so because a lot of people are shy about that stuff.
And I am too in a lot of ways. I think shy. I'm like, oh, like even with the pricing, but I had to be like, I want them to be kind of the things that I'm not, like just like fearless kind of in that aspect. And my oldest is Toby. So Toby's my youngest. Toby is 8. He'll go talk to anybody and start conversations. And Nog is a little bit more shyer, but to see him kind of like have discussions and like, we family members were like our investors. So he had to make the phone calls to like talk to them about the business and why they should invest and what kind of investment they could do. He had to like do more of that, and I feel like I've seen that manifest in other ways, like when he's talking with people. So like helping him to be not that he was shy, but just like more talkative and do more of that kind of speaking with people without having that fear. Like I used to be scared to call people on the phone to ask a question. So I want my kids to be more fearless and not let that be a barrier for their ideas and what they want to accomplish. So learning that, I think, at an early age will carry with them, so that they don't, I don't know, I just worry, like I don't want them to be shy or anything like that. So that was something that I was excited that they don't seem to have that impediment in their mind that they can't do stuff. And also seeing like, okay, like the postcards didn't sell, like that could be viewed as a failure or a setback or whatever, but that they're like, okay, like how could we get them to sell, or just like not taking uh, losses as like the end of the world. It's just something that you need to adjust in. And I think that's good for them as well.
So the postcards, do they just have an image, a drawing, and in the back they're blank, so anybody can write
Yes.
anything? Oh,
Yes. So my sister used them
I want to
as
buy,
postcards.
yeah, and I also said I wanted to buy a t-shirt, so
Oh yeah.
Roman wants to buy one, so, but I want the boys to, I'll warn Roman to my son. So they could call him and ask,
Yeah.
yeah, if he's
Yeah.
willing to buy a t-shirt. And of course he's gonna say yeah, but
Yeah.
boys aren't gonna know that, okay?
Oh, okay. I'll let them know
I'll
to
talk to Roman first and
make
then,
that pitch to
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. I'm really excited about where this is going, and if you don't mind, we in addition to posting this video, I would like to post maybe a link or anything so they could find some of the boys' work and support their efforts to keep moving. Is
Yeah, we have, so like again, I've actually learned a lot of things. It's not that I have this built-in knowledge of how to run a business. I don't, like I'm not, that's like kind of almost the opposite of like who I am. I'm not like a business person, but I've learned so much with them. So that's been great. I think it's also great for them to see their parents learning as well, and that there's also growth. So we've been working on a website. It's not published at all, but they also have a shop,
yeah.
and we learned about how to set that shop together again from one of our librarians who also does this. So like we definitely, I'll give the shop link to you at the end, and so maybe it can go with your video. And there, it's just like it's a place where artists can basically have their designs, and it can go on shirts, and like people can pick the color of the shirt. And so that's just something that we learned how to do, and it's been fun. And like they've had to learn how to use some of these, like Toby had to use some of these art applications of like how to erase the backgrounds, because he's drawing these things by hand, and then we're scanning them. That doesn't always translate to a shirt. So kind of like for him to see there's like logistical things you have to do to be able to turn your art into. And I know that there's some like maybe more expensive apps, so we're always searching and trying to learn about that. So thank you. We are starting like a website, like how to uh my other son Anak is working uh on, like, he learned how to embed the t-shirt shop or whatever into our just regular website that's going to eventually have like the about us, like some of his stories and different designs. So like we're just learning things together. So, and I think that's something that like my Montessori background kind of has helped me with, because like a lot of times we think kids can't do some of that stuff, like, oh, that's too hard because I learned it when I was 25 or whatever. But kids, they don't know that it's hard. Like some of those things are hard. They
That's
don't
true.
know that. And
Yeah.
so if you kind of be like, okay, yeah, we're going to embed a whole site onto another site, that's just like a normal day for them. And so for them to like this is just a new little thing that they've learned. And so sometimes things that we think are so complicated, the kids don't even know that. And so to like that's what has also been part of that, is that they're learning, okay, well, I'll try this and it's okay if it doesn't work, or we'll learn this, different things. So we're building a website together. I've never done that. We're doing it together. So, and fortunately there's like some things that are like easy about that, but or that make it easier for people that don't have like a coding background or anything like that. So just learning a lot of just things, and things I didn't realize were going to become lessons when we first started it.
Well, you're a typical homeschooling mom. I mean, there's a lot that we learned, but you've taken out another big project, which it's going to continue to evolve. And I know it is, with the drive that your boys have and you, and, that's awesome. But I'm going to share the links and, in a picture of the boys at that event at the library, so the people can see what they're designing, the cool drawings. And you're the brain behind all of it, you and the boys. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Maricela, for this
Yeah.
time, for sharing this with our community. And what's the takeaway? First of all, what's your takeaway on this? On what just the whole, we'll just kind of narrow it down to how things have happened until now with this project of t-shirts.
Um, so like so the takeaway is like uh I think what everybody kind of like in homeschooling wants to do, a lot of people think that, I think I kind of lost my train of thought, but I think I, I wrote down some notes. The largest part of my notes section is all the lessons that came out of this. From calculating interest rates, and I had my fifth grader calculating interest rates and how they change as someone pays something back. Learning responsibility about paying back investors, which are my family members, paying back investors first so that you can see the profits, to like learning how to use spreadsheets. That's a lot of stuff that Anak did. I think like there's some things that like you can, like that could have been a hard lesson, like a boring lesson that we were just sitting and doing and not getting anything out of. But having them like do this because they're motivated by, saving up for this like toy or whatever that they want to get. Um, I don't know if that's a key takeaway, but it's just like that was months of our quote unquote school year. Like that's what we were, that's what we focused on, and we were able to grab so many different lessons. Toby wrote his usually free writes, but then we had to go back in and kind of like, well, like let's this is how it looks when people are speaking, and let's make sure we put quotation marks. And so like grammar lessons developed out of it. Toby had to learn, you know, one of my cousins was like, hey, I need a design for my business. Like I'm giving some limited t-shirts away and I want something that goes along with it. So Toby had to learn how to like decide, you know, work with a client, but also keep his artistic integrity, you know, things that like, you know, older adults that are in the art business like grapple with, he's having to like do at a younger age. And so just like, I mean, I just think that they are doing things that people don't do until much later, and so they get that practice out of the way. And so by the time they are, you know, ages where they can be making these kinds of companies, they've already had years of experience doing and learning how to be adaptable and not being scared, and you know, I don't know, just like independence, and also like the sense of a of accomplishment when something goes well, and also uh it's okay if this didn't go as well as we thought, and let's what can we do better. And so that trial and error and quote unquote failure are part of that whole experience. So and they can actually see math in action, or like the reason why you need to be able to write, because both of them have both questioned me, like Toby the creative one questions me about like where am I going to use this math in my life, and here we have like literally this like you need to figure out what percentage of the money is going to Anak and what percentage of the money is going to you, because it's not 50-50. So like they, you know, they battled that out. And then also a knock on the flip side doesn't like writing as much, or it's like such a like pulling teeth basically for him. And he had to write a proposal, which he did without complaining, because he wants to make sure he gets his 40% cut of the, you know, the
Oh my,
business, you know, and earn it, and how to responsibly pay back the money. Like Anak was in charge of the money, and he had to um like he had an agreement with an investor that he pays back by a certain time, and he was always watching that, you know, I have to pay this, you know, $100 back before month one, and he was just always watching. Like that's the first thing he did, was pay back the investor, and then he was able to like feel like he, you know, was managing his part of the business. So just like that kind of responsibility, when do I don't remember learning how to do like money, you know, management. Those are important things too. So I just think there was just so much to get out of just one project that could be like a lifelong thing that they do, or it could have just been the start for something else. Like we don't know where life will take us, but like they just have this under their belt and can point back to this experience, and they are so happy. Like I think in the pictures you can just see
mhm. Yeah, I saw
how
how,
they are of themselves and what they did, and for other people to see it, I think too. Instead of like, oh, mommy loves me, it's just like, wow, these other people think they're amazing as well.
I think Toby kind of embraces these opportunities, and they're like this is a challenge where a lot of people, you know, I was in sales for banking and I hated it. Even the word sales, I hated it. One of my friends would always embrace it. It's like, yeah, I want to sell. Let's get I'm like, oh, you don't want them to make me do this. But now I have to do a lot of it
Yeah.
myself, like but not in regular that I'm selling items. I have to sell myself and the organization to people who want to sponsor, believe in what we're doing. So I'm having actually fun doing it that way. But what you're doing is creating you're right now, that's one of the most valuable skills because no matter what we do in life, we're gonna have to sell, either sell ourselves and to get a job.
Mhm.
If we are a nonprofit founder, we have to sell in order to get funding or it's, you know, to get people to donate to us or whatever. If you become a doctor, anything, you have to sell your skills. And and that's just, that's such an important lesson that you're teaching them. And I'm so happy though that, Mari, that we're related. It's because I get to see them until till I'm not here. I
Yeah.
hope, see all of this evolve and come into life, whatever you're doing, that I can't wait. I told Toby that I will be front row at his first movie. And I hope
Oh,
he gives
yeah,
me a
thank
place.
you. I thank you, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that too. Your support and everything has like made the journey lonely because I mean, it was sometimes, I mean, not lonely is what I mean, because sometimes it felt very like I'm the only one doing this. Is this the right choice? And once I found you and like all, the other moms you've helped introduce me to, like I felt like, okay, I'm not crazy. There is a reason, why people do this. And so I want to thank you very much for bringing that to me and to my boys. So we're not just like in this like bubble, but like we've actually have built community through this.
That's what it's all about. And yeah, same here. It's been a blessing. My son has two relatives, not just friends, but cousins that he gets to see often. And
Yeah,
even when they're not schooling, they were playing games, or they're learning a lot of good, valuable skills. So I'm so grateful.
definitely.
So I will share all the links, and everybody, if anybody's interested in supporting these two entrepreneurs, and if you as a parent have an entrepreneur or have done anything like this, we would love to hear these stories, especially because it motivates the Latino homeschooling community. And it is lonely. It's a lot of us, a lot of times we go to meetups and we don't have people that look like us, and it's a little lonely. But yeah, there is a lot of us that are going through this journey. It's just basically finding the right people that you can share this exciting journey with. Thank you.